Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey friends, welcome back to Daily Dose Radio. Do you ever go on a trip and maybe pack a lunch or pack some snacks just so along the way you can, kind of refresh? Well, that's kind of like what Daily Dose Radio is all about. It's that 5-minute Bible study burst, that boost that you get when you just, sit down and grab your snacks. It's only 5 minutes a day, so jump right on in. It's good for you. And today we're in Psalm 121. We're going to look at this psalm all week. It's another part of our Ascent Psalms. We're climbing. So we've begun last week, and we had our GPS out last week, and we figured out we were starting from Meshech and Kedar, places that are just so far away that it's hard to get a radar fix on it. And you could tell the psalmist was feeling that when he pronounced upon himself a woe in verse 5 of Psalm 120. We come today to Psalm 121, and I want to read to you the very first verse. This will be my translation. That we'll just do verse 1 today. In verse 1, Psalm 121, I lift up my eyes to the mountains. From where does my help come? So we begin with a question. And again, that's my translation. Question here in verse 1, which goes back to Psalm 120. Remember, these psalms, they are independent of each other, but they're really not independent of each other. It's like Psalm 119. Psalm 119 was, each octanary was independent of the other octanaries, but then again it wasn't. There was a grand overarching theme. And so in these psalms, there are connecting thoughts and ideas, and especially in what the rabbis call the Little Psalter, we're going to see these connecting thoughts and themes just flood through the entire thing and connect each psalm to the other to make one coherent body of material. So today we see this question. Well, if you just turned to your Bible and just opened up to Psalm 121 and just read verse 1, you would want to know, why do we have a question to begin this particular psalm? Well, we go back to 120, and remember I just mentioned he pronounces a woe upon himself because he's living in Meshech and in Kedar. And he says, my soul has dwelt here too long, and I'm with those who hate peace, and I'm for peace, but when I speak, they're for war. So he feels this depression, this sense of disconnection with his God. He's for peace because peace is a fruit of the Spirit, right? Love, joy, peace. It's the third fruit that Paul tells us is a part of that package of things called the fruit of the Spirit. He's not living with people that have that, and he has it, but they don't. And so he feels this horrible disconnection between his faith and the people he lives around. Now he's headed back to Jerusalem. And he says in this first verse of 121, he says, I will lift up my eyes to the mountains. So he's headed back and he sees the mountains of Judea. And he says, where does my help come from? Well, he can't say that it comes from anywhere around him because he's been living in a place that apparently is just so depressing to him and has stripped him of his spirituality and has stripped him of his connection with his God, that he has to ask the question, where's my help going to come from? Now, he's going to answer it in verse 2 in a beautiful way. And also in verse 3, we're going to see those two verses tomorrow. And we're going to notice that this psalm is all about keeping. So he begins us with this question because we come out of 120 with the doleful proclamation, I am for peace, but when I speak, they are for war. And we come to 121 verse 1, I will lift up my eyes to the mountains. From where does my help come from? He's in need of help. Maybe today you're in need of help. Where does your help come from? Does it come from you, from the people around you, from your abilities, from your possessions, from your stockpile of goods? Where does your help come from? Well, we'll find out tomorrow, so make sure to join me on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.